Some time ago, I used Luke Skywalker's lines in The Last Jedi to write about the institutional church. The lesson he was trying to teach Rey was that the Force itself didn't belong to either the Jedi or the Sith. It was greater than and beyond both. Imbalance and tragedy occurred when one claimed exclusive dominance over it. He had studied the Jedi Order, had tried to resurrect it himself, but his final conclusion was to let it die with him, as he told his would-be Padawan. It's time to let the Jedi Order end. I feel the same way about the institutional church. It's time to let it end. Like the Jedi Order, it did a lot of good, but also like the Jedi Order, it's becoming the cause of its own downfall, through its blindness to the source of any power or authority it can lay claim to. Furthermore, God the Father, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit do not belong to any one denomination or individual church, though they often act and believe as though they do, much like the Jedi Order and the Force. Frequently, they become more about maintaining their own institutional structures, rather than actually making real, authentic disciples of Jesus Christ who seek to live as he taught and walk as he walked. If the institutions exist only to continue their existence, then it's time to let them go. Even more so if they are actively working against the actual teachings of Jesus Christ and those who actively seek to live as he taught. What takes their place, though? Small communities of people who sincerely work to imitate and channel Jesus Christ, disengaging from their own flesh, and submitting to and cooperating with the Spirit of Christ, so that it is He who acts and speaks through them. Small communities of people who actively share with each other and those in need. No buildings, no campuses, no multimedia concerts. Maybe they meet together once a week. Maybe they spend most of their time together throughout the week. But the focus of the community is one where each person is themselves a disciple first and individually, as well as holding each other accountable to submission to and cooperation with the Spirit of Christ. Noticing when the other person is acting from the flesh and gently offering correction, though removing from the community if the person refuses to reconnect with the Spirit of Christ. This is what Christian communities, churches, were supposed to be to begin with, not megacorporations or political machines. The church or any local church was never meant to be a worship community, as we might think of the term worship today. They were meant to be practicing communities. They were meant to be communities of people sharing their lives, time, talents, and treasure with one another as they all sought to practice what Jesus taught, live as Jesus taught, and walk as he walked. Their worship was to be with the Spirit and with truth. That is, their primary mode of worship was honest submission to and cooperation with the Spirit of Christ in all things, being gently corrected by the rest of the community if they should stumble and devolve back to the flesh over something. While reciting liturgies, sacraments, and rituals, and the singing of spiritual songs certainly took place, these were aids in their primary goal, not the crux of their worship. They were individually disciples first, and then a community of disciples meant to strengthen, encourage, and build up one another second. This is what the church was meant to be. This is what the church was for the first 300 years.